I'm
I
not
want Dan
overly
to
confident. I'm not overly confident that this is going to be
All
it
right.
for Man United, and they go on to achieve what Man United are about achieving. If you know what I mean. The
All right,
history
so
of Man
before I
United.
bring Dan in,
Jose Mourinho is the special one for a reason. He came over to Chelsea, no experience, and smashed it out the park.
He won the Champions League with Porto the year before, Billy.
Yeah.
He didn't just get picked up at the Spar Shop car park.
No, of course.
League.
Of course, but that's what I'm saying. There's one Jose Mourinho, but we've not seen anything like that from Amorim just yet. Jose Mourinho came over and took to it with ease. Yeah, which is very impressive, but it is the Portuguese league at the end of the world. It's not the Premier League. It's not the Bundesliga. It's not La Liga. This is what I mean. I don't think it's all flowers and roses for Man United just yet. I'm excited to see what he could do. I'm intrigued to see what he can do, but this doesn't necessarily mean that it's the turning point for Man United that are going to go on and start winning leagues and this, that, and the other. And that's why I think that it's a risky appointment.
Go on, Dan.
I've got to be honest with you. You've absolutely made me speechless with what you've just said.
I'm still to come, mate. I'm still to come.
You lost the Palace this weekend, mate.
You're going to have a rubber dinghy in your mouth, mate, by the time I finish.
Then do you know something? Deji, take the floor. Take the floor.
Can I go? So first and foremost, welcome back, Dan. Look,
thank you.
The thing is, I told you, we're going to have to call this show. It's no longer a race for Europe. This is called Cooking Dan. Each week we cook Dan on this show. And we're having various meals, various cuisines from around the world. This one is Japanese cuisine today, and I'm going to explain why. So you're here getting excited and shaking your bum for Amorim, that's won in the Portuguese league, and you're using that as a yardstick that he's going to come and do something at your club. I told you already that your team is one of the dustiest teams I've ever seen in my life. And
you're talking about a manager who come from fucking Celtic and won the fucking league. Come on.
I predicted West Ham to slap your club up this weekend, and I wasn't disappointed, and I didn't stutter. Look, the thing is, mate, let me tell you, someone said something to me, and it did make me think. You know, so you bring in a Mourinho, a Conte type world-class managers when you have world-class players, and you brought in Eric Ten Hag, who couldn't manage his issue. He's a good manager, but his issue was the personalities at your club were too big for him to handle. I think we're being brutally honest. He was used to managing, you know, up-and-coming players, minnows, you know, Anthony when he wasn't Anthony, that sort of thing. And then he was thrust into the limelight at your club, whether we like it or not, one of the biggest teams in world football, even though there's nothing about you that indicates that. And so now you're going to bring in Amorim, who is also of the Ten Hag ilk, very good at managing and developing up-and-coming players. And we're going to expect him to manage the likes of Casemiro. You're asking him to manage the likes of Christian Eriksen and all these other brothers.
Players who are on their way out of the club, but okay.
I don't know if there is a difference between Amorim and Areola at Bournemouth. I think Areola is a great manager, but I look at Areola and I think I would like him at Spurs. But then I question, can he handle the personalities? The truth is, Dan, the reason why I talk down to you is because you
were so tempted to say pressure then. You were so, I seen it at the tippy. You were so tempted. Can he handle the pressure? I seen the cogs turning, my guy.
So for me, I just think, let's hope whoever you bring in makes you competitive. Because I don't like to see you like this, Dan. I've had to drop...
I love you. I love what you've just said. I love you for what you've just said there. I love the fact that you've just said that Ten Hag come in and couldn't handle the squad that was there, couldn't handle the names that were there.
Yeah.
They left and he brought his squad in. And guess what? We're 14th. So don't come at me talking about Ten Hag not being able to handle. Ten Hag has fumbled the ball countless times. He turned us into a glorified cup team where we were very, very fortunate to hit City on an off day. We were very fortunate to hit Newcastle when they were in their ascendancy. That's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. This is a manager. This is a manager, by the way, that Martin will know was linked with City. I know City fans were looking at potentially he was a manager that was going to take over from Pep. But Billy, you were.
He was linked with the.
I'd have hated him to have gone there. He'd have bbeen miserable as fuck if he'd have gone there, by the sounds of it. Errol, he was linked with your club last season, and I remember us talking last season. You said that you'd like him there. We don't know what can happen in 12 months' time. We don't have that ability. That's a fact. But what this tells me about, to coin Deji's phrase, my club, right, is that they've done the right thing for the first time in a fucking long time. They've recognised that there's an issue. They've recognised they've made a big mistake at the start of the season in allowing this man to continue. They've gone out there after yesterday's performance, regardless of the fact that you can say that Manchester United actually played okay against West Ham. I thought they were unlucky. The misses were shocking. The penalty is what it is. But they've gone out there this morning and they've gone, this ain't working anymore. This ain't working. We've got to make the decision now. Now, the reports are coming out that Amorim was always linked with joining us at the end of the season. Now, this is something I said when people were asking about why we've kept Ten Hag, is maybe we were working on something to come in at the end of the season. They've done it. They've cut and Ten Hag loose. They've got rid of him. They've made the decision. Now, the other point that I make is this club at the moment, the players are not good enough. Okay, these players are not good enough. We know that. We're 14th for a reason. We're not 14th by accident. So he has got to come in and he has got to deal with these players. If he comes in, I'm not jumping the gun, but if he comes in, he's got to deal with a squad that is full of players at the moment that just aren't good enough. We know that. But what I think that this guy is going to bring is he's going to bring a style of play, which is what Manchester United fans have been crying out for a long, long time. And he's going to bring the ability to play football the right way, in the sense of getting rid of the people like Anthony, getting rid of Casemiro, getting rid of Eriksen, getting rid of Maguire, getting rid of Luke Shaw. The style of play he plays does not match many of the players that are in this club at the moment. I think it's absolutely brilliant that Ineos have made this decision. And you know something? I've sat here every week, and Dan, I've been very fortunate for you to allow me to come on this show for 2 years now, and I've had to sit here. And sometimes I've got my flowers when we've scraped that win against City, when we scraped that win against Liverpool in the FA Cup. I've had to be miserable. I've had to endure it, and I don't want your sympathy for it. Of course I don't. But I am going to be excited about this appointment because this is the right appointment. We have been linked, right, with Southgate, with Potter, with McKenna. Okay, we've been linked with Allegri. We've been linked with these managers who are not the manager. Carrick, for fuck's sake. Ollie, there was Ollie linked at the start of the day. We've been linked with all these managers, and I can tell you all now, if any of them would have turned up at Manchester United, you would have been laughing me off this channel and saying Manchester United have done it again. So don't sit there and say that, oh, it's a risky move. This is the right move. This is the absolute right move. And I tell you something. For us to come out there and pull a manager in like this shows the progress and the ways that we are moving as a club in the backroom staff. So I'm stunned. I'm good stunned. I'm happy stunned. Absolutely buzzing. And by the way, I just want to say, I'm not sat here saying that Amorim comes in and gets us Champions League this season. That is gone. That is gone. We'd be lucky if we get European football at all this season. But we have got a manager that's going to come in now and clear out the shit and bring in. You got to remember, Amorim was Agate's manager. PSG forked out the money for Agate playing under Amorim. He's got that connection with Bruno. Bruno, by the way, needs the biggest redemption arc in the world because he has been appalling. He has been shocking, absolutely shocking. He is one of a few players that Ten Hag has foolishly put his trust in for a long time and has ultimately ended up getting in the sack. So there's no denying that there is a long way to go for us to be even thinking about competing about Premier League and all that bollocks. This has got to be the start now, and it's the right start.
Look, I agree, Dan, and I hope that, what I'm hoping is that the United fan base give Amorim the time to get you guys back in the top half of the table. My only concern is that this is the Premier League, and, it's the most unforgiving league in world football. It's full of top managers. So what does, my question would be, what would success under this brother look like? And I'm talking about if he comes in this season, next season, what does it look like? Because what I don't want is a situation where he comes in and we beat another good manager because the tools that he's been given are all pretty blunt.
I agree. But Deji, that's what I alluded to before. His ultimate target for next season, if he joins, I'm not counting him if he joins, is getting us back in Champions League. That is the first thing he has to do. We have to be back in with the big boys. Carabao Cup was brilliant. Winning that was brilliant. FA Cup, my favourite cup. I love the FA Cup. Brilliant. But you've got to be sat around the table with the big boys, which at the moment, 4 of us in this panel are doing that week in, week out. And by the way, looking good at doing it. So that's the first aim. He has to get Champions League football. Simple as that.
Look, I think it's potentially a really good appointment. And I understand what Billy's saying to a degree in terms of a risk, because every manager's a risk, right? Coming over from a different league. But you look at some of the appointments that have been made from different leagues and they've banged. Now, there's a lot of people talking about this manager. In fact, there's a few Man City fans I know that were like, yep, I want him after Pep, right? Wasn't just him they wanted.
I was one.
6 others. You say that? Is that you, mine? Say again. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I wanted him.
Go on.
1000%. I wanted him. And I told everyone this. I think it's a very smart appointment. He was given the time. You got to look what he's doing. People, I'm sick to death for this managers. This fans in 2024 are doing with managers what they do with players. He's come out the Portuguese league, so he's crap. Well, Jose Mourinho wouldn't have had a career. Yeah, he won the Champions League. You understand that? It was agreed at Chelsea well before he won the Champions League.
100%, Martin.
You think he just won the Champions League and Chelsea went, what a job? They were already looking. You know, you look at Ange, he did a great job at Celtic and what he did at Yokohama. Got the Spurs job. We've got to stop doing this arrogant name stuff like it's FIFA. You know, Liverpool looked at him. This Amorim has been on the books of a lot of teams for a long time. And I'll be honest with you, I did want him after Pep because I thought I like the way he plays football with a back 3, 2 wing backs. I think he plays nice football. By the way, he's won 9 out of 9 in the Portuguese league this season. He's won 6 honours in the Portuguese league. He took Sporting Lisbon to the first title in 14 years. You know, breaking on with that Porto Benfica dominance. And people are just looking at it because he's out of the Portuguese league. And I'm sorry, to me, it's snobbery. It's a snobbery thing. If they're not out the Bundesliga or they're not out La Liga, no one's interested.